And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a mini expansion for Heroes, Land, Air, and Sea. Just a real quick review of this mini expansion. It's the Nomads, which are essentially trolls. I think they're trolls. Yeah, they're referred to as trolls by the ones, but they consider themselves to be nomads, right? We are peaceful. So this is kind of you can use this with the mercenary expansion, use these guys as mercenaries. You can't really use this by itself as a mercenary. But this also has a way where these are kind of just spreading across the board and you can work with them or work against them. Here's how. So the Nomads come in this box here, long thin box. You're really not going to need this box because you'll just be able to take the Nomads out. They all look the same. There is 10 of them, and there's two ways that you can play with the Nomads. One is via mercenaries. For that, you'll need the mercenary expansions that you can get for the game, which allow you mercenaries, and then the Nomads. And the Nomads are different than the other mercenaries because there's 3 of them, and one person can hire the Nomads, and they hire all 3 of them. And they're basically just an annoyance to other players. You can use them, basically, you can move them to your main area. You can use them to follow or muster actions, so you can have Nomads working for you. Or you can also have all regions next to them, get 1 less resource, and you can move Nomads. It basically increases your army size. They're a pretty cool mercenary. They're not an uber powerful unit, but they are pretty strong, and the number and their strength is equal to the number of Nomads in play. And that's basically how they work if you play without them being a mercenary too. When you play with wandering Nomads, every round the first person is going to put one of these out. The first one goes into a desert region anywhere on the board, and after that they go adjacent to a region on the board. And then these Nomads are just there. They're causing all sorts of problems, and their strength is equal to the number of Nomads on the board. So if you let them all get on the board, you have some serious problems. So players are going to have to deal with that. If you capture a Nomad, you can use them to work or follow or muster in your thing. Now how do you do that? Well, the game comes with some more spell cards. There's Enrage, Befriend, and Capture Nomads. So let's look at Befriend. That looks like the nicest one here. Gain 2 resources as a resource region type for each Nomad in play. That's a really cool one. If there's a lot of Nomads in, you're working with them. Enraging them, move it there, and you can make them fight, and the army's +3. So you can just basically use them to attack other players. And Capture them. You can capture from any region and put it in your courtyard and start using it. So I really like that. I like that there's 3 different ways to use these guys. And so while I have to say I really like using them as mercenaries, I have enough other mercenaries, I'll use those, and I'd rather use these guys in the variant of putting them on the board. Is this essential? I don't know that it's essential. Will I play with it? Pretty much every time, because it's an easy thing to have on the board. I like having the extra spell cards in there. I like working with them or working against them, capturing them, making them work in your thing. And when you get a Nomad spell like that, it's very tempting to scribe the spell. Why wouldn't you? You can just continue to work with them or continue to capture them and then use them, which is kind of dark if you think about it, making the trolls work for you. But it's a cool expansion, and if you have the mercenaries, you can throw that in too. So the mercenary thing is a minor thing to me. I like it, but for the putting them out on the board and just having a neutral force and just having them there, and sometimes you got to go conquer them, and they're just getting worse and worse, and manipulating them or working with them. It's cool, and it's one that I will use in many, many games. That's the Nomads mini expansion. Dice Tower Judgment approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!